What if Norway had scoliosis? They got that classic curve in their spine up here. There's ways to maybe fix that now, right? Sweden, on the other hand, looks nice and thick. I couldn't decide which Balkan nation to circle jerk, so I just did all of them. There's the Hellenic Confederation out of Greece. They got back Istanbul, or should I say Constantinople now. There's the Bulgarian Empire doing their thing, kind of a Yugoslavia 2.0. The Union of Romania with Moldova, and then there's Hungary. They finally got all that stuff they wanted back. Well, at least some of it. They won't ever be satisfied though. This is definitely one way to circle jerk a lot of the Balkans, but at the very same time, you've just made a lot of them extremely angry. Which place would break apart in a civil war first? A country ball map showing what if Russia expanded south instead of east. So centuries ago, they started like this and they had a decision to make. Now they mostly went and conquered a majority of Siberia, but what if they didn't? In this universe, they made sure to stop any sort of Ottoman Empire. I'm like having to do this with my head to figure this out. Oh, the Ottomans are small boys. And they're also doing their normal thing, trying to surround as much of the Caspian Sea as possible. I mean, as we saw, they did that in real life as well. There's also a massive Bulgarian Empire. Are they puppets to this Russia? I just want to know where they continue to expand. Maybe all the way to South Africa. I don't know why I said it like that. I wonder if this means China just takes over everything to the north. What if we pushed Poland just a bit further west again? I mean, what is it? Fifth time's a charm. Throughout history, Poland has just been pushed further and further west. They started off in the yellow, thick as the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth. Then in gray, we have Poland back during World War II. And here we have modern Poland after World War II. As you can see, they're literally being like blown to the west. So like, what's one more time? Like, why not? I mean, it really feels like at this point, we're just trying to take Bikini Bottom and push it somewhere else. So this Poland still has Warsaw, but it's all the way on their eastern border, and basically all of former East Germany during the Cold War has become Poland, which, I mean, why not? Is the plan just to keep pushing this country west until it gets to my state of California? At this rate, they'll be here in 500 years. Thank you for showing the next evolutionary stage of Poland. What if North America and East Asia swapped places? The state of Florida has become the new home of North and South Korea. They really are the most similar to the North Koreans in my opinion. I'm from Alabama, so close enough. Most of the USA has become communist China. I like how the Rocky Mountains obviously have to be the Himalayas. Canada's just Russia, a very apologetic Russia. All of Montana and surrounding states have become Mongolia, which when comparing temperatures to the state of Montana and Mongolia, they are pretty similar. There's probably only about 3 million Americans that live in that region as well. Of course, Mexico has to turn into the weird skinny part of Asia. I wish they made Vietnam longer, and I wish Laos was landlocked, but all right, this is definitely Indonesia, except for Cuba. Wait, what? This is Japan. Indonesia is just the Caribbean islands. Meanwhile, in East Asia, this is what the world looks like. In Southeast Asia has become just Mexico. All of the Central American countries have been smashed into this peninsula. Indonesia is just basically South America at this point. Perfect place to put all those Caribbean islands. They're just in the Philippines. There's plenty of space to work with. Obviously, China has become the US, but the Korean Peninsula is still Florida. Cuba is now Japan, and here go the Canadians. Oh, best part, Alaska up here, which has been cut off. They're up there. I shouldn't be as entertained as I am right now looking at such a simple map concept. However, it's so cursed. If Oppenheimer overdid it a little bit, this would have been known as the Trinity Disaster, or the day the world almost ended. Remember that he initially thought there was a chance he could destroy the world when he dropped the first nuclear bomb, even if it was just like a really low chance. A little bit of a different quote in this universe, but yeah, not a biggie. Basically, all of New Mexico, Colorado, and some surrounding states have been vaporized. 99% of the living things have died from the pressure alone. The outer layer here is covered in 1 meter of ash. Big ol' blast with some loud sound decibels out this way. All buildings and eardrums have been destroyed. Roofs are collapsing in Mexico, which means they're also collapsing out here in Michigan and Canada. Category 5 hurricane-like air velocity. And here's a long list of all the destroyed cities, but it's all good. We'll just, figure it out. Oh, that's a lot of oof people. This would be like the greatest gift to Japan and the Axis ever. That just makes me think of a whole nother situation. It was July 16th, 1945 when this thing dropped, so that would be possibly the day the US just ceased to exist. Germany had already surrendered about 2 months before that, but maybe this would give them a whole nother reason to try to uprise again. Or maybe this would give Japan a slight chance out here in the Pacific. Probably not though, if I'm being completely honest with myself. It's a fun idea. Maybe if the US destroyed themselves in 1944, but more than likely in a scenario like this, the Soviet Union still ends up winning for the Allies. They just take over everything. And kind of a horrible terrible way, this would be pretty hilarious if we destroyed ourselves like this. What if the world decided to paint Greenland green? Finally, in this universe, we started painting Greenland green in 1923, and this is after 100 years. Mind you, I don't think we're actually using green paint for this project. Regardless, the world has decided this Viking prank has gone on long enough. Imagine living in our clown world where we haven't done this yet. Wait, you know what? I just now realized we are actually painting Greenland. They are physically painting the hillside green. The military has also stepped in with more of their own green paint. Some areas are being preserved, being protected from the green paint atrocity. The Canadians have also begun doing their own green paint project next to their own territory. The first successful paint from the orbital satellites. Oh, that's smart. Just using the satellite and the... Oh, okay. Man, I thought they were actually like gonna plant trees and stuff, but then I realized it actually would just be easier to paint Greenland. You can't really bring in vegetation to this. Or maybe that's what the whole climate change is about. That's one way to get it green. But yeah, painting would probably be the only option if it wasn't for everything just melting up here. What are we waiting for? At this point, it would confuse too many people to just switch the names of Greenland and Iceland. We gotta paint it. Which countries still have a monarchy? All right, let me just try to figure out what the hell even happened here. King Henry IX is now the head of the state for 15 different countries. So basically, we still have a pretty big Britain, but there's also New Britain here in New England. Also, they still have South Africa, as well as Australia and New Zealand. There's monarchies in place in Bulgaria, Liechtenstein, Monaco, as well as there's still kind of a really ugly Germany going on. Of course, the Vatican has their Pope. Japan has one of the Hitos. Plenty of other monarchists all throughout the world in smaller kingdoms. Seems like most of the world in this universe has just been like massively balkanized, so that's part of the reason why this happened. King Abdul II, who holds the worldly title of King of Arabia. Oh, this guy's got some interesting control over lands. So this is just a universe if we had a few more monarchies, but actually not that much more, and they're just functioning differently. This is what our current world has as monarchies. This post is definitely having people do some double takes. I thought it was real too. What if Napoleon of France also escaped the island of St. Helena? I guess in this universe, he didn't just give up and say this. Remember, he already escaped exile once from Elba, then retook control over France. They had to fight him again after that. Who's to say he couldn't possibly have done this as well? The only problem is it's closer to Africa, as you can see. So in this universe, he escapes exile for the second time and starts the French African Empire. Slowly, he began to recruit African nations to help fight for him. Ashanti warriors started fighting British colonists along the Gold Coast. His influence has spread all the way to modern-day Libya and Tunisia. And remember, this is still long before the imperialization of Africa. This continent looked more like this, actually, so possible. But if he did get all of Africa, then why wouldn't France also help him? I feel like France would, of course, just be like, oh yeah, come back. They would get him back. And this time they'd be stronger than ever because now they have all this territory. He would be really into his 50s, though, I'm realizing. I just want to believe. The collapse of the British Empire after they won World War I. So everything goes the same in World War I. It's just the British collapse instead of after World War II. I don't really know why or how this is, but Ireland is now united and independent. Canada looks now in the control of the US. The French still remain all in Africa, but South Africa is independent, or wait, actually, I don't know. Maybe they're also, I don't know what's going on. Oh, that's Dutch? I don't know. The Italians are still here. India is now independent, and I'm sure they're going to go through their civil war just like they did. And there's Australia and New Zealand over here. Of course, Argentina gets the Falklands. In this universe, without the British having their empire, can Britain really just stand alone? Because remember, that's a kind of a funny memed about thing. Britain stands alone. Meanwhile, they still had all of this territory. I mean, at the end of the day, did they still have that navy? That navy was a key component. Or did some of those ships have to go with the colonies that they gave back? If that's the case, they're probably not going to stand alone. They just lost 13 million square miles across the seas. This would definitely lead to a very different World War II, that's for sure. Maybe the Germans take over England and just hide in there when the Soviets come and invade? What if the United States was just basically Brazil? Manifest Destiny didn't get all the way to the Pacific Ocean. They're now referred to as the Republic of Colombia. And there also isn't a huge push to get population to the western states as well. So the Brazilian United States people kind of just remain along the coast. I mean, even to this day, this territory is pretty under population density. New York remains the largest city. However, with this Brazilianification diversification, I never thought I'd say that word. The population is a lot more diverse. We still have the same origin story with the 13 colonies, getting all this stuff, then having the Louisiana Purchase, but at this point, things begin to change, as Texas being a buffer state, kind of some chaos happening, fixing it a little bit, and now, you know, just kind of some, you know, whatever. The politics of this Brazilian USA would also be quite different. There's the Liberal Party, the Workers' Party, Social Democrat, Colombia Democratic Movement. Well, at least it's not just two options. John Kennedy. Wait, what? Oh, these are previous people. I see. There, of course, was a military dictatorship at a time, for a long time, that is. So does that mean Brazil in this universe becomes the USA? Did they take over, like, all of South America? Man, oh man, this brings a whole new meaning to come to Brazil. And big thanks to the patrons.
Drew, I'm your dad, back with the milk. Look outside.
JohnDenver, LuxembourgLover. I can't sleep without Drew's voice.
Aaron
Amateur Archaeology,
Carmel
Fredrik Tibblin,
GoodOldRyah,
InquisitorXarius,
Let me know
is
best
Robert
ride.
The Pie, Sebby, if you hear this,
I love you.
And why am I doing this?